Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
It's always been an old phrase around for decades. You are what you think. And that comes in line with manifestation, what you want in life. If you're thinking negative things, you're going to get what you're asking for. And we're going to talk about manifestation today and following your dreams and making them come true. And he's got a dream of building a holistic healing resort. And he's doing that or getting closer to that with a lot of products that he sells that are all metaphysically and astrologically connected at chakrawonders.com. He's back with us. Dexter Morton is on the program. Hey, Dexter, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful today, Steve. How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you. And this whole manifestation thing, I love it. I hate it because I never know the right way to manifest. Everybody's got different spins on it. Why don't we start at the basics here? For you, if you want to manifest something, whatever it is, maybe, business, relationship, whatever, what's your guidelines for that?
For sure. So the first thing that comes to mind when we talk about manifestation is honestly getting clear about what it is that you want in the first place. A lot of times people talk about, well, I want this or I want that. I want to have the perfect spouse or the perfect relationship. One, perfect spouse, perfect relationship. Nothing's perfect, but two, also get very specific on what you're looking for. For me, when I was looking for my partner, I actually sat down and was like, okay, these are the characteristics that I would like to have and like that I like to see in another person. Lo and behold, I found the perfect human being.
All right, let's because this is what most people, if you talk to anybody in that situation, even if somebody goes to a psychic astrologer right away, it's, their partner relationship, when is it going to show up? Mm-hmm. Walk us through in a little more detail what you did, how you wrote things down. Don't have to go into specifics there. Oh. And then the time period, and every situation is different, but how did it all happen for you?
Oh, fair enough. So interestingly, I actually wrote it down on a notepad many years ago. And I was still in the service in the military at the time, and I just woke up one day and decided this is what I want to do. I want to find my perfect mate. So I started writing down these characteristics, and I actually kept that with me. And I released it. I just kind of let go of the attachment of finding this individual. And at the time, as I realized that I wasn't as clear as I guess I should have been, because I started meeting people who fit some of those characteristics, but then there were other aspects that I didn't particularly care for. For instance, I met an individual who was great in every way, but didn't really enjoy social events. And I'm not the most social person in the world, but I do like to go out. I do like to experience new things. And that was something for me that I was like, well, I don't think that that particular relationship is going to work. So then I just moved on and I slowly started to refine the various aspects and qualities and traits that I was looking for. And lo and behold, I ultimately ended up finding that individual. I think people get so attached to the timeline and when things are going to happen. And when you go to a psychic, most psychics, a good psychic, I would say, won't really give you a time period. Oftentimes what they'll say is it'll happen when it's meant to happen. It's all about divine timing. And when it's right for you, you'll know it. When someone gives you a finite time period, this is going to happen for you in 3 months. I would be more apt to kind of walk away from that person because it's not something that we can really define on our strict linear timeline. And oftentimes when psychics are pulling something out of the ether, what they're doing is looking at a particular possible timeline. And we don't know, or it's difficult to pinpoint when your vibration is going to switch over to that timeline.
You said something I think is really impactful, that you had it manifested and then you let it go, whereby I think a lot of us keep marinating on it. When is he or she going to show up? Why am I single? When is this going to happen? As opposed to just being positive and saying, they're already here. They haven't
Well,
walked through the door yet, but they're here.
one thing that happens is when you get into that cycle and that loop of when is this going to happen? Why am I single? Things like that. The universe is always going to rise up and present to you what it is you're looking for. So by saying that, why am I always single? The universe is going to provide to you solutions and reasons on why you're single. This is why you have to
Hmm.
write it down, get specific about what you want, and then let it go. The act of continuously wanting something keeps it at arm's length away from you, because what you're really saying is, I want this so much and I want to stay in the vibration of want, and it keeps you in that vibration of lack. But you have to be able to let it go in order to move on to that next level of the vibration.
Yeah, it's almost if you have to take the attitude like whenever it shows up, it shows up. I'm not gonna worry about it.
Pretty
I can't do
much.
anything about it, and if you continually keep saying, why is this not same thing? Could be the same thing with abundance, money. Why am I
Mhm,
never not making enough? How am I ever gonna afford that new car? All of
mhm.
that stuff. Just manifest it positive and then just kind of let it go and let it
For
go.
sure. And when it comes to money and finances, I think I said this before, that I kind of have a different outlook on finances, because money to me is so arbitrary. It's literally just numbers in a system. So it's easier for me to just kind of let that go. A lot of times people talk about they want more money, I want more, 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 more. Well, what is more? And what do you actually need those finances for?
Right.
Now, if you're trying to pay something off, then put out into the universe that I need to pay these particular bills off. I need this particular amount of finances for this reason, and then let it go. Allow the universe to take care of it. Don't be so attached to how it's going to come to you. Because if you define to the universe that I have to go work a 9 to 5 and put in extra overtime in order to get these funds, then
Mm.
that's what the universe is going to provide for you. The universe that is going to say that you define for yourself that you need to work harder in order to get these funds. You're not allowing the universe to take control and provide it to you in perhaps a different way. And it usually comes in a way that you don't think about.
Yeah, because you're not worrying about it.
Mhm.
It's just showing up. Um, and that's the things that I had struggled with manifestation. If I should continually keep saying this person is here, this person is going to show up. I actually once had a conversation with the person I wanted in my life. I sit in my car one day and I was just like, they're sitting right in my seat, in the passenger seat.
Oh
And
wow.
as I did it, it was like, this is so real. Like I've pictured them there. And even the conversation, um, to that point, many say that you should have a relationship with money as opposed to looking at it as like, oh, why? Why? No, invite it to your dinner table, have a conversation. How's it
I
going?
with that. 100% agree. A lot of people have what I would consider a negative or adverse relationship with money, to the point where they're afraid to look into their own bank accounts. You should be grateful for having the funds to pay your bills. Don't be afraid of paying your bills. Because once you start allowing the finances and money to run your life in that way, you're kind of stuck in that negative vibration, that lower end of that vibration. And it makes it difficult for you to just move on. And I found myself doing that a few years ago, actually. I started noticing that it was around the time I started the business. And I started noticing that I just didn't have enough money. I didn't have enough funds to
Mm,
putting into this business. And anyone that starts a business by themselves for the first time, it takes a lot to start that up, financially speaking.
for sure.
But what my spirits and my guides were telling me was like, you're eating every day, your mortgage is paid,
Yep.
and your car is paid. Like, all your bills are paid. So what are you complaining about? And you're still running your business. You're still, getting customers. What's the complaint here?
Right.
And you had to take a back seat and, just agree with it. Let it go, relax.
Now, of course, we'd all love to win a lottery and have millions and millions of dollars, but do you need it? That's the
Right.
question. Let's say you have a goal. All right, maybe you need it for something. If it's I believe in doing the right thing, the right kind of goal, but you take a look at the majority, and I believe it's like 90% of the people that have won lotteries,
Mhm.
it ruined their lives.
Yeah, most
The
of the time they end up
right?
the money within a year or two, just because they don't have that one financial education and understanding of what to do with these large sums.
Yeah.
And side note on that, I personally think that people should be taking financial classes because we're not actually taught how money works. We're not taught, what to do with it. There people just say, go invest. Well, then how do you do that? Do I go read some books? Do I go watch YouTube? No, I think you should go take a class. You
Yeah.
should invest in yourself first and foremost, and then talk about getting into the stock market, talk about building your businesses and things of that nature.
I
I have this,
completely agree, Dexter. And there's just some kind of like even like basic things that you wonder about. Should I do this or should I do that with my credit cards? But we don't know, and we're probably wasting a lot of money just kind of just doing our thing. All right, we're getting by with it, but we could probably be doing way better with it.
oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I try to, I know this is pretty off topic, but, I tell people about assets versus liabilities. And I'm like, I don't think most individuals understand the differences between an asset and a liability and how your house isn't necessarily an asset. It's most people's houses are liabilities. You can turn your house into an asset, but unless your house is making you money, it's not
Right.
a liability. I mean, it's not an asset.
Exactly. Um, yeah, all this stuff you don't learn about. And let's even talk about this. Again, slightly off topic, but subscriptions. How many times do you subscribe to stuff and then you forget? Could be just an app that has a monthly fee. And now you're dropping, $5.99 a month. Now add that up to that one, to that one, to that one. Are you even aware of what you're spending every month?
Right. And a lot of people don't go back and review their bank statements. And it's not something that you need to do particularly every month, but honestly, quarterly or at least biannually, you should be looking at your bank statements and understanding where all your funds are going. I know when I started correcting my finances those years back, I pulled my bank statements up, and it was a recommendation from my dad. And he told me to just go through everything and actually calculate how much money you're spending in your personal life. I think oftentimes what we'll do is
Hmm.
forget to set aside some funds to actually go have fun. And then when we do go out, we end up overspending because we didn't have a budget for our entertainment. So once you set out a budget for entertainment,
Hmm.
you, you're covered. Make sure you have your bills paid, obviously. Like you want to do that first, but put some money aside for entertainment, put some money aside for your savings account, and then put some money aside to go into I forgot, there's a guy who called it, I don't remember, but it's basically a fund for you building into yourself. So an investment fund strictly for yourself. And you might not know what it is that you want to do quite yet, but when you do decide and you do get clear on that goal, that task, you have the funds aside for maybe you need to take this class. Maybe, Spirit is telling you to go travel to the other side of the country for whatever reason. You have funds for that. And it doesn't have to be anything that's so dramatic. It doesn't have to be, 60% of your income. Like I said, pay your bills first and then start allocating some funds to these smaller accounts and just put, $10 away a month, $20 away, $100 away. I guarantee most people are spending that much money going out anyway. So just take the money, right? Yep. Just take that and put it into a side account.
Yeah. And you don't realize what you're spending because nowadays we're usually not taking cash out. And,
Mhm.
when I recharge, so I can pick up my coffee, I try not to overdo it. So, I call it a treat. It's my
Mhm.
treat. That's my kind of Zen thing. But when you recharge your account, it's, after a while, it kind of adds up, and the other part is that we have to manifest the positive things in terms of finances. I
Right.
love what you said about the entertainment expenses because I just checked one of my statements and I'm like, it was a wake up. Like, oh, you went out to dinner then. Oh, then you went to a brewery. Then you hung with friends then. It was like bam, 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 bam in just like a 3 week period. And I didn't add it up. I don't want to know, but now I'm more mindful of it. Now I'm more mindful, like, all right, we got to tap the brakes a little bit because you don't realize it. You're just
Mhm.
dropping the card down. With manifestation, any other tips you have to no matter what you want to manifest?
Yeah, for sure. So another thing that really helps with manifestation, aside from getting clear with it, is having affirmations and doing positive affirmations every day, and also expressing gratitude in your life every day. One way that you can start doing that is the first thing you do in the morning is say three things that you're grateful for. And it can be something just as simple as I'm grateful to have woken up without any problems, because sometimes I wake up, my back hurts. So I'm kidding. But
Sure.
and I'm grateful for having a house. I'm grateful for having a job. I'm grateful for being able to eat today. I find myself being so grateful for literally everything in my life. I remember when I first moved out on my own, and I didn't have any furniture. I had to sleep on the floor for a few weeks. I didn't have a bed. I didn't have like anything, just going to school. So now when I'm sitting on my sofa, I sit back, I'm like, I remember when I didn't have this. And I'm just grateful for having that. You also want to have just some affirmations that you tell yourself every day. And really good ones is I love myself, I trust myself, I honor myself, I value myself. And just say that a couple of times throughout the day, and you'll see your own energy and your outlook on life just rise. And as you start raising that vibration, the universe is going to meet you. It's going to meet you where you are. It always does. You just might not be completely aware of it. A lot of people are unconscious manifestors. And
Mm.
when you're an unconscious manifester, you tend to attract things that you didn't particularly want consciously anyway. And it tends to be those things that we would consider negative. Well, they're not negative, they're just lessons to get you to where it is that you need to go. But once you start becoming a conscious manifester and you start telling yourself these positive affirmations, you start practicing gratitude, the things that you're attempting to manifest, you'll find appear a lot more expediently in your life. And one other thing on that is keep in mind, the more grand the idea, the more grand the thing that you're trying to manifest, the longer it's going to take. That's just how our reality works. We're not
Mm.
people that can instantly bring things out of thin air, out of nothing. You wouldn't want that anyway, because that would be pretty terrible. Ultimately, considering all of our stray thoughts, but it takes a little bit longer. There's a old Chinese proverb, and I'm probably gonna butcher it. And it talks about the bamboo tree. And the thing about a bamboo
Mm.
tree is that when you plant a bamboo tree, it won't grow or show any signs of growth for the first couple of years, 2, 3 years. But after that fifth year, once that fifth and sixth year hit, it shoots up out of the ground. What happens is that the bamboo tree actually grows its roots extremely deeply. If you've ever actually seen a bamboo tree, they're like these super tall stalks. The way that they're able to stand like that, so sturdy, is that the roots go deeply. The
Yeah.
roots have to grow first. So what I'm saying is that the things that you're trying to manifest, the larger and more grand the idea, the universe is putting roots down for you. And you might not see anything for the first couple of months or the first couple of years, but just keep working at it and just keep believing. And sure enough, it's going to shoot out of the ground before you know it.
And the bamboo tree, one of the most invasive plants there are, one of the most hardy,
Hmm.
and there are in many municipalities around the country that you can't plant them because
Right.
the roots go out. They can get, you could put a bamboo tree in a metal container, and depending on the metal and the situation, the roots eventually can make their way out of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally see your point. Um, and if you're manifesting something big, something grand, the universe has to set you up for it. So it's not like, here it is. Whoop, there it
Mhm.
is. There is things going on behind the scenes, that all these little pieces that have to go together, maybe move out of your life, move in your life, readjust within your life to give you that big thing that we're talking about in manifesting. What about the language, Dexter, that we use? Like, for example, I've often heard, if you're going to manifest something, don't say, I need that car. I really need that car,
Right.
because it's a negative. It can be perceived as a negative universally. To change it up into something more positive.
For sure, yes. So when you say that I need something, I want something, and even when you say I will have something, so to say that I need something means that you don't have it, and that's coming from a place of lack. This is why
Yeah.
you need it. And if you can't get this particular thing or item, you're going to be hurt or something negative is going to happen. That's really the connotation that goes behind I need something. To say that I want something is pretty much the same thing. It's giving you that idea of lack. I want it because I don't have it. And when you say that I will have this, that's not as bad, but it's a little bit more tricky because the thing about saying I will have this is it's it places it in the future and it kind of places it just out of reach. So one thing that you want to say is when the time is right, the universe is going to bring to me what I need. I have everything that I need at the moment right now. And when you're working on manifestation, such as I use my business as an example, what I said is, universe, I want to be able to help people. How do I do that? Please present to me the opportunities or present to me the ways to do it. So it's more like I'm having a conversation with the universe and with spirit or with God, and just please show me what it is that I need to do. And then I start working on those things. And slowly but surely, the universe started to bring things to me, and I was able to grow with that. At times, I'll get almost stuck and not really know what the next thing is that I'm supposed to be doing. And I'll just ask, is there anything else I should be working on right now? Is there something that I need to do? Or is there something that's in my better benefit, my highest good, to get me to where it is I need to go? And the universe will present that to me. Sometimes it'll come to me in a meditation, or oftentimes, because I can be a little stubborn, is randomly somebody will say something along the lines of what I needed to hear. The other day I was working with this, I just started working with the shaman, and she pointed me out of a room, and she said, my spirit guides are telling me that I need to help you and work with you. And I just thought it was hilarious because I was looking for a mentor and I didn't really know what that next step was.
Do you think we have like a minute left here, but is it okay to imagine it already here? Is
Oh
it
yeah.
okay to say, like, I have that car. It's here. I'm smelling the new car smell. Wow, I am seeing myself drive down the highway. I have the sunroof open, the wind is blowing, I've got music on. Somebody just looked at me. Hey, how you doing? It's
100%.
here.
I envision those type of things all the time. I imagine myself already standing in my resort that's helping people. I
Okay.
imagine the multitude of people that I'm helping. And I get very, when I say get descriptive and get very specific, that's another way to do it. Journaling helps, but having a very clear vision and idea of what's going on is
Yeah.
wonderful.
And writing it down is key because we can think these things, but sometimes other thoughts come in and you want to be crystal clear in
For
what you
sure.
want from the universe. Your website, chakrawonders.com. For me, it's a wonder that there's so many amazing items there. And they definitely key into a lot of what we're talking about now. And on the back end of it, that is your vision to build that holistic healing resort someday. So yeah, go to the website, chakrawonders.com. Really, really, I don't know anywhere else you can find such a collection of metaphysical stuff done well, high quality, and just even the graphics and the art, which you personally did, most of it is amazing. Dexter, you're amazing. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Steve.
It's great having you, and look forward next time we get back together and manifest in a positive way. That's what we're doing.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.